G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. You already know today's video is an absolute stacker. We have so much to talk about. We just had the hype hour. We have what the next FNCS game mode is. Are we getting a World Cup in 2022? Are we getting proper console tournaments returning? A new arena system? We're also getting multi-day cash cups, daily cash cups in the summer. We are now not only going to have Champions Division cash cups, there's going to be contenders and opens. There's the new FNCS system, which is crazy. If you get to a certain amount of points and you get 2 wins, the tournament ends and you are the winner. There's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Before we talk about the 3 big announcements, let's talk about the huge secret announcement that was at the end of the hype hour. World Cup. Are we getting a World Cup 2022? A lot of people coming into this announcement were very, very hyped, were very, very excited. I myself saying that maybe we could have a World Cup announced because it looks like they were really hyping it up. Unfortunately, they didn't announce it, but a lot of people are saying that means we are not getting one in 2022, but that is not true. They did not say we are not getting a World Cup in 2022. Zeke came out at the end of the show, got everyone really hyped up because everyone was like, oh my God, it's Zeke and he's come back, and he started talking about LAN events and all of us started to get our hopes really high, and then unfortunately broke the news that right now there is no plan for a World Cup 2022 in the immediate future, but they are hoping to run one. That's what people don't seem to be focusing on here. Right now, Epic doesn't see it feasible to be able to run a World Cup with the current climate of obviously COVID, the global pandemic. We have other countries and big areas of the population going in and out of lockdown. They said they wanted to be more fluid and they wanted to be able to be more reactive and they wanted to be able to adapt to whatever's going on with that situation. So it doesn't mean we're not getting a World Cup. And if anything, as someone who thought that Epic might not ever run a World Cup again, I'm actually quite hopeful from this announcement. They clearly want to run a World Cup. They're talking about bringing big LAN events back. They just said that the health and safety of the players is their utmost priority. And until they can ensure that, they will not run a World Cup, but they clearly want to. So short answer, no, we are not getting a World Cup right now, but there is a very good chance we get one in the future. Now, let's run the announcements in order they came on the actual hype hour. They kind of phrased it as opening chests, and we had each announcement, 3 of them, and then we had that World Cup LAN secret announcement at the very end. So let's talk about what the first announcement was. It was the competitive game mode for 2022, and it is duos. We are going to have duo FNCS for the entirety of next year. What are my thoughts on this? Everybody knows duos is my favorite competitive game mode. Always has been and always will be. I've talked about that a lot. Just very briefly, I think it's the best for new and up and coming pros because it's easy to find one pro that's around your skill level to improve with, to fit your schedule, but it's not solos with a whole bunch of RNG, and it's not like squads where you've got to find 3 players of your skill level who can practice and fit the right roles and all of that kind of stuff. Also, I think it's great for storylines. You just have, 2 players, Benji, Savage, you have those kind of storylines that build up over a long period of time. The chemistry's there, the excitement's there. I really, really enjoy it. Solo clutching when one of the teammates goes down is far more viable. Solo duo clutches are so much more exciting to watch. Solo trio clutches quite often, other than the rare occasion, is just playing medkits, getting frontside, play a medkit, get frontside, play a medkit, box up, play a medkit. Solo duos, they actually get to frag out a little bit more. They can take those 1v2 fights. They can actually survive. And once a player goes down, there's a good chance that team can still do well. But it doesn't have the RNG of solos, getting headshot sniped, just having a glitch or getting kicked out of the game, DCing, something like that. Also, solos, just if there's one broken item in the game, like mythics, it's always abused far more in solos by one player, where if it's duos, it's spread out a little bit more. So I just prefer duos in general. I think this was a great decision by Epic, but I'm also not a huge fan of this whole 1-year FNCS. I will take the L. I did say I want an entire year of one game mode, or at least a long period of one game mode when it was trios, and overall I have enjoyed this competitive year. I think it has been really, really good, but I think if Epic just maybe did 1 or 2 FNCSs in a row as one game mode, but told you an FNCS ahead what the next one was. Let's say this announcement was, all right guys, first season we're kicking off with duos next year, and then the season after is going to be solos, or it's going to be duos, then it's going to be trios, so people could find a team and get ready. But I understand why Epic's trying to do one set game mode. They want to be able to base the meta around that game mode. Hopefully base the map around that game mode would be awesome to see as well, but I don't know if competitive has that level of power over the casual team, and it does help build storylines. It's really cool to see those consistent teams that stay together throughout the whole season, and also with this system Epic's trying to introduce with players qualifying into the next FNCS because of their performance in the previous FNCS, it has to be the same game mode. So overall, my opinion, I would have rathered it maybe not just being a competitive game mode for the entire year, but if it was going to be one game mode, I'm very happy it's duos. I've changed my mind here. Let's talk about announcement 3 before we talk about announcement 2, because it's a bit more exciting. It's a bit more fun. Announcement 3 was a few things. We are getting daily cups coming back. Very exciting. We're getting 2-round cash cups, which I'm a little bit torn on. I'm kind of happy, but kind of not happy about as well. And we're going to be getting cash cups broken up into Opens League, Contenders League, and Champions League cash cups, kind of like we used to back in the day. So let's break those down in order as well here. So daily cups. We've told specifically daily cups are going to come in Q2 of 2022, which is going to be summer for the Northern Hemisphere. Obviously, a lot of the play base being US and European based, so they want to kind of focus those daily cups around when they get their big school breaks. Fortnite is run and played by kids. Let's be honest, that is the main demographic on this game, which is exciting. Everybody loves daily cups. They are so much fun. They also mentioned daily cups could be broken up into champs, contenders, and opens as well. We're assuming there's going to be a prize money on the line for these daily cups. I will say right now, we had no mention of prize pool today. No cash cup prize pool, no FNCS prize pool, none of that. But daily cups are pretty cool. If you guys don't know, I'm moving to LA next year. I'm going to be in LA from February onwards, so I'm looking forward to playing these. I'm going to play the NA East, the NA West ones. It's a bit of content. It's something fun to grind out every day. If there's some money on the line for the pros, it's really cool. It's taken me back to that Chapter 2 Season 2 vibes. You know, we had Mythic Season. Everyone was running daily duos every single day. There was so much content. Laserbeam and Fresh were trying to set point records. Laserbeam was trying to go pro. We had like Scoped and Tfue playing in them. It was just really, really cool to see. And I really enjoyed that time of the game. But if we had a worse meta, if we had a less fun meta, would daily duos still be as good? I'm still excited for them either way. I just feel like a lot of people have that nostalgia to such a good season, and we might get a good season. We might get Chapter 3 next season. We don't know. If it's super exciting, it's a new chapter, daily tournaments, like I am vibing with that. That would be incredibly, incredibly cool. Now that I think about it though, Q2 might actually be another season again, so this could be a different one. Maybe this could be Chapter 3, because if we don't get Chapter 3 next season, surely the season after potentially, I don't know. We'll have to see either way, but daily cups are coming back. I'm very excited for that. Now, 2-round cash cups. What does that mean? That means there's going to be a qualifying round on one day and a final on a separate day. They said they don't want them to take place on the same day. I've always been torn on cash cups. It makes the finals really, really exciting because obviously you have the best players in there, so the games feel really, really good. It works really well in the bigger regions like EU and NA East, but a lot of the smaller regions, it doesn't work so well because players don't want to have to play a whole 1 round of a cash cup and then a whole second round, sometimes 6 hours for only top 3 to get money. OCE, for example, a lot of these second round cash cups only have like 5 people on rotating zones. Like the games were not good. I know you don't want to cater, you know, tournaments around the smallest region, but it'd be nice to have them kind of thought about in this equation. But it's pretty good, to be honest. It's going to bring down a lot of those issues people talking about when it comes to cash cups of, you know, we've talked about adding kill caps, adding higher skill-based matchmaking. People saying the first game RNG is crazy. If someone gets into a game with no pro teams, they can just drop a 50 bomb and then they just take over the cash cup. Well, now with multi-round cash cups, it looks like the second day will probably be set lobbies. So it's more competitive Fortnite to watch. I'm happy about it as someone who does viewing parties. I don't know how the pros feel about it. If you guys are pros or you playing cash cups, do you like 2-round cash cups? Do you not like 2-round cash cups? It gives the exposure for, you know, up and coming pros to get set lobbies a little bit easier as well. Getting second round into cash cups a bit easier than getting to set lobbies in FNCS, so maybe they get a chance to get more practice in, which develops the comp scene. I can see both pros and cons to it. It means our tournament schedule is going to be packed. 2-round cash cups. So if there is a, let's say a duos and a solos cash cup, that's 4 days of tournaments. You're going to have dailies on every one of those days. You're going to have FNCS for 3 days on the weekend. Like they're talking about LTM cups, they're talking about skin cups. Like there is going to be a lot of tournaments. Last but not least, splitting up the tournaments into Champions, Contender, and Opens League. Now, I was a little bit worried about this because I thought they were going to put prize money into the Contenders and Opens League, which I do not agree with. In the past, when they've done this, people just smurf. They make a new account or they deliberately don't get to Champions Division so they can play in the Contenders Division games that are easier and then get money. But it looks like if you actually read the competitive blog post, they say hype earning events. So I don't know why people would then make an alt account to play in an easier tournament to earn hype that they have on their main account. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but it also now makes this kind of less exciting because they're not really cash cups for Contenders and Opens divisions. They're just hype nights. They're just more regular hype nights, but some of you guys much prefer just having more tournaments. If you're in Opens League or Contenders League, you might not be good enough to get champs. You might be trying to improve as a player, but you might still like playing in tournaments. You know, you might like to see if your points go up each week. You might like to try and improve. Maybe if you perform in these tournaments, you get enough hype to get into Champions Division for for the first time. It's not something that's incredibly competitive, but it is good for the competitive ecosystem because it fosters more of those casual comp players, the players who are just getting into it. They're good, but they're not quite pro and they just want to play something. So I don't see it as hurting anything. If it doesn't take any of the existing prize pool away, there's no reason for me to not want it. Instead of players just playing Arena while the Champions Cash Cup's on because they're not Champions Division, now they play in a Contenders or Opens League Cup. It could be really good for the game. So as long as this doesn't take prize pool, which it looks like it won't, I'm pretty happy with it. They did also mention specifically console cups, but I don't really want to get too excited about that anymore because I feel bad for you console community. They said in the most recent blog post about this season, there was going to be a whole bunch of console tournaments, and then we really only got like PlayStation exclusive tournaments and the console Champions Cup. So they mentioned it, so there's hope there that they might do more than just one console tournament a season for all of console players, but I don't want to drum it up too much because there's nothing specific, and every time there's nothing specific, it kind of falls through for you guys. Something that I think has flown under the radar like crazy because it wasn't on the actual official broadcast, but it was in the official blog post, is an arena rework. They said you can expect additional changes coming in 2022 to tournament features, the official broadcast, and the arena system. Now, I know I have been the champion of an arena rework. I think it would be one of the best things this game has ever seen and one of the biggest steps into really elevating Fortnite back to its previous glory. Something to grind for, something to play for every single day. But we've got our hopes up in the past. Last time we were told we're getting an arena rework, they added a few things. Nothing really made any difference. This season's arena felt exactly the same. So I'm not going to try and drum this up as, oh my gosh, chapter 3 is next. We're getting an arena rework, but they have mentioned yet again, they're working on a new arena system. So fingers crossed, guys. Just fingers crossed. Please maybe comment down below, hashtag arena rework something. I need to do something to get Epic's attention to let them know that we need to have this. We need an arena rework. It would do so much for Fortnite. The second announcement was the new format for FNCS. And you probably heard a lot about this. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty different. There is now a match point, which basically means in the finals, if a team gets to a certain amount of points and they also already have achieved 2 victory hours, the tournament's over, they win, and now the points change from there. So everyone has their placements from there. So you could be in second place, like 100 points behind first. They finish the tournament, and now with 6 games to go, you get second. A lot of people are really, really scared about this, but let me say something that a lot of people aren't talking about. Epic specifically in their blog post talked about how they want these moments to feel really, really hype when there's an insanely dominant performance, maybe like we just saw from Kami Seti Teak. A tournament will end this way, but they don't want every tournament to end this way. I think a lot of people are expecting the match point system is how every FNCS is going to end. They said they're going to do a bunch of research. They're going to try to have the threshold very high, so it's only if a team like absolutely pops off and they get a bunch of clout and it's a talking point. So once I heard that, I was a lot more of a fan because when I first heard it on the actual broadcast, I was a bit skeptical. Match point can be really, really cool, but I don't particularly like the way they're doing it. I liken this to Apex Legends. If you guys haven't watched how Apex Legends does their ALGS finals, which is like FNCS, basically they have a match point system where once a team gets to a certain amount of points, they then have to get a win after they get to that amount of points, which leads to these really, really exciting finishing of the tournament because you can have a team get to, that threshold of points within 2 or 3 games, but then they don't win one of their next 5 games and everyone catches up and then it's who gets the win, and it gets really exciting. A lot of players don't like it because it's quite stressful and it leads to target griefing, knowing if that one team wins, the tournament's over, so I got to make sure I stop them. There's upsides and downsides. I feel like Epic going for the match point system's kind of cool, it's kind of exciting, but I don't like the idea that you just have to have already gotten 2 wins, not get a win once you get to it. But let me know your thoughts. Maybe you guys really like this match point system. It seems like the pros aren't really huge fans of it, and I can understand why, but I guess if a team is dominating a tournament that hard, it would be kind of cool to give them a bunch of recognition for the tournament ending early. Like Kami Seti Teak's performance in the most recent FNCS, they were absolutely god tier. They destroyed it, but at the same time, I want more finals games. I kind of like the way it is right now because even if first place is, beyond gone, Kami, Seti, and Teak are winning the tournament entirely, it was still really cool to watch who comes second, third, fourth, who's trying to catch up. Like, that was still really enjoyable. I don't think I really want to see that cut down. I don't want to see less final games, but that's just my opinion. As for the actual new format, it's a little bit interesting. They're still putting a big emphasis on these victory royales. We're not going to be getting 32 reboot rounds like we just got with the most recent Grand Royale, but what we do have is a new qualification system where if you get a win in the semi-finals, you automatically go straight through into the finals, kind of like a reboot round, but then other teams still playing who don't get the wins are going to get through on consistency. So let me break down the format. Kinch Analytics, absolute homie, has already made a graphic. It might be a little bit confusing because we don't have the exact amounts yet. We don't know how many people get through from each semi-final, but it'll still kind of clear up some of your confusion. So there's only 2 qualifiers again, like we just saw with Grand Royale. Instead of where we used to have 3 qualifiers, then semi-finals, then finals, it looks like we're having 2 qualifiers on the same week. Then we're going to have 1 week of semis and then finals. So FNCS is going to be done in 3 weeks. Again, I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't know why we're putting a huge amount of prize pool into FNCS, but then trying to reduce the amount of time it takes. Like, we only have 3 weeks of FNCS now, and if a team dominates the finals, we have less games in the finals. It just seems weird to try to make it shorter, but let me explain the format. So 2 qualifiers, top 50 on the series leaderboard, which is good. So it's based on series leaderboard. They're going to go straight through into semi 1, and then from 51st to something else, we don't exactly know how many are going to get through, are going to go through into semi 2. But from the qualifiers, there are going to be a set amount of players that go straight through into the grand finals. We're used to seeing this. Remember, certain FNCSs, like if you come top 5 in any of the week's round 4s, you go straight through the finals. Same thing. You're used to seeing that. Now, semi-finals is going to be interesting. Like I said, the game winners, kind of like a reboot round, are going to go straight through in the finals, but so are a certain amount that place highly. I'm sorry I have to keep saying a certain amount. It might be top 5, it might be top 10. We just don't know yet. And then semi 2, the way it's going to work is the players who didn't qualify out of the first semi-final, they're going to drop down and they're going to get another chance. It seems like Epic's trying to go off this whole, load session victory path thing we just played around with Grand Royale. And then semi 2 is going to function the same way. If you get a win in semi-finals 2, you're going to go straight through the grand finals, and there's going to be a top amount of people on the leaderboard who also go through. The reason why a lot of people are concerned with this, and I understand why, is I always look at these formats with how can someone just get into finals who, I don't want to say they don't deserve to be there, but it might not be the best way they got there. So looking at this format, someone could play the 2 qualifiers and get absolutely last on the series leaderboard that gets them into the semi-finals. They could then come last in every single game, win the last game, and now they're in grand finals. You might be able to tell me that you think that's a good system because the Battle Royale, if you get a win, you played really well, but how many times have you seen a team just fluke a win by, they find a llama, they get gifted some zones, they luckily get high ground, maybe they just have one big pop-off performance. You guys know me. I'm a huge fan of consistency. I want teams to make it into grand finals who are going to be representatives of people who will do the best in grand finals. So players who can consistently place in set lobbies and place highly, not just get one victory out. So the new format is interesting. I like that Epic's still trying to play around with it and make it better, but I'm not going to lie, Grand Royale is one of the biggest steps away from a good format, in my opinion, one of the worst formats we've seen, and now it looks like the new FNCS format, they're trying to model and take parts from that into this one. I'm really confused. I do also think potentially Kinch's analytics is wrong here. The graphic, they did said semifinals going to take place on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I don't know. Maybe there are 3 semifinals, not 2, but I will make a proper video breaking down this format when we know it exactly, when we know the exact amounts, but a lot of you guys are going to be questioning it, so I thought I'd leave it in there. Overall, my thoughts on the hype hour are positive, and I think a lot of people are surprised by that because a lot of people have walked away negative. A lot of people are upset, and I knew this would happen. I knew that after everyone was hyping up for a World Cup, even if it was a phenomenal show, but there wasn't a World Cup announced, people were going to be underwhelmed, and that's what's happened. People are upset because there wasn't a World Cup announced, but I think, like I said with the World Cup, the fact that they're trying to do a World Cup and they want to do a World Cup and they're bringing LAN events back is super, super exciting. So as much as that is upsetting, guys, it was a good announcement. I think the way they did the World Cup part could have been better. It really did bring the hype back up and everyone got really excited. Zeke came in, he started talking about LAN events. It was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. I really wish they maybe just put that part in text in the blog post rather than making people think or believe it was about to be a World Cup announcement. Also, the whole 3 chess thing was a cool kind of concept, but the first one being the FNCS game mode made me think they were going to get better. Like the second one was going to be like chapter 3 and then the third one was going to be World Cup, but first one was the game mode, which was huge. Then the second one was just like format, and it was just talking about the format. There was no graphic. It made it really confusing, but I think everyone involved in the show did a really good job. I think it was fun. I think it was exciting. Bringing the players in to do those little challenges and games. Yeah, at times they get cringy, but they're always going to be cringy. You're catering to a very young, casual audience with this show as well. I somehow managed to curse an interview. Didn't know that was possible. Sorry, Muzz. Apologize for that one, man, but good answer, Mr. Muzz. He's killing it so far.
Great to hear, Muzz. Thank you so much for joining us here right now. And obviously, one of the other announcements that we got to hear is that there's going to be hundreds of tournaments in Fortnite, a lot of unique tournaments that we haven't seen before. So final thoughts on that.
Oh, wait, there's one more chance.
Oh, sorry, what was that? I just zoned out for a second.
There's a lot of new tournaments coming to Fortnite, a lot of opportunities for new players to kind of jump in there. What do you think?
I heard there were console cups, so
well,
you know,
I f***ed him up.
for the
Sorry,
console
Chad.
kids.
It was really, really good. I think overall, Epic is taking big steps forward in competitive. The format is a little bit funny, but for anything, if you want to take something away from this high power, Epic is trying. Even if they're making decisions you don't agree with, for a while there, we were getting what I felt like was very minimal effort and very minimal communication. It seems like Epic was doing the bare minimum and just throwing money at the game, and that's why it was surviving. But the competitive team is clearly putting in a lot of effort now and is really trying to improve things. Even if sometimes I disagree with the decisions they're making, they're doing the best with what they think is good for the game. And sometimes, a lot of times actually, they've been right and I've been wrong. So I'm very excited to see what happens for competitive Fortnite in 2022. And I think there's a very good chance Fortnite is going to grow, especially as an esport next year. There are some big things coming. I've been saying that I think COVID really did, hurt Epic and really did damage the momentum of Fortnite. And I think they're picking up those pieces and they're putting them back together. All right, guys, if you liked the video, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.